Okay, here's the second video for the RP2040 design. This is where we left it off. The rest of the parts, I don't really even need to design the board at this point. I just need the parts that I know I'm going to need. So let's add a few more parts. So let me add, let's see, I know I'm going to need a resistor. I need a bunch of resistors and capacitors. So let's just go ahead and let's see, it's under device, and I want, no, there's crystals. We could put those in too. And the crystal is going to be a 2 and 4 ground, 4 pin. So let's do that one. So let me put that up there somewhere. Let me just dump it over here for the moment. Let me go back over here and grab another part. Let's go for device, a capacitor. What do we got? We got a small capacitor. That'll work. I'll need a couple capacitors, so I'll put one of those over here. We'll get the packages on these two in a second. Let me just go ahead and put some of these others. We need to go down to... Oh, I'll need an LED as I'm going by those. LED, just a generic one. I'll need a resistor. Let's see, let's QR resistor network. No, I just want a resistor. That's a resistor. Okay. So I've got a few of those. Let's see, what else do I need? I'm going to need a regulator. Let's see, amplifiers. Let's shrink that for the moment. Processors, we've got regulator. These are linear regulators. An LM117-3.3. That looks good. That's actually got the package on there for us already, so that's good. So we'll just drop that on here. You know, this will have a micro USB port on it. So what do we got? Connector, USB micro. Yeah, that looks like the right one. So let me throw that on here. And again, as I said, we're going to move all these things around. What else do I need? That's probably good enough to get us started. I mean, we're going to need some connectors and stuff. We'll add those as we go. So let me go back to, let me just go ahead and annotate these. So I'm going to click the annotate button. So they're all annotated. And then I'm going to go back to the footprint assignments. And the cat small here, I'm going to do that is, this is a let's see, diode SMD, connector, capacitor SMD, and this is going to be an 0805 device. Let's see here, what can I find? SMD electric 0805, and I'm not even going to do the hand solder, I'm just going to do the normal one. Okay, LED is next. LED surface mount. This is also an 0805. The USB micro. I've got to find that one then. That is a connector USB. Connector USB. And then this one is actually micro B Molex. Micro B Molex, and we want the 47346. I'm actually going by what I know I have in stock. A resistor, okay, let's go down to resistor surface mount. Again, we're going to go for an 0805 because that's what I have, and that'll be that one. The processor's taken care of. The Regulator's already in there. The crystal. Okay, so we want a crystal. Let's go back up here. Connector. Crystal. And we're after SMD and Seco Epson FAB238 4-pin. That's the one I got. Okay. Let's say okay. Now I'm going to save my work for the moment because it's always good to save it frequently. Now, the reason I wanted to do it this way is because when I need a resistor, I will just copy the one and change the value if I need to. And by doing that, it already includes all the package sizes for me, so I don't have to go through and go get them again. So this is a good enough place to start. You know, the first part of this design, all of the RP2040s will need it. So we're going to do that before we even discuss what's going to happen with the rest of it. So let's zoom in. You know, I really don't like that zoom thing. Let me go back to preferences here. And let's see, mouse and touchpad center and warp cursor on zoom. I really don't care for that. Let's try that. Let me go back. Ah, that's better. That's more of what I want. Okay, so let's go back and connect in. Let me start with this particular device, and I'm just going to put my cursor on this, and I'm just going to say move, and then I can hit the M key to move. I didn't click a mouse button, but I'm going to put it up here in the corner because that's really close to what I want. And now I need a couple of parts here. I need a pair of 27 ohm resistors. Let me zoom out for a second, and let me take one of these and just say M, and let me zoom back in here. I hit the R key to rotate, and I'm just going to put it right there, and I'm also going to say edit. Value, this one is 27. Okay. And just say okay. Now the location of that label really isn't very good. So if I put my cursor on that, I can actually move that much closer. In R1, I can move that around too. Let me just do that. Now, let me put my cursor back on it. I'm going to say, let's try this. Command D says duplicate. Okay, that's fine. And let me put that out there. The label's a little bit in the way, so let me just spread these out or bring this one down just a little bit so it isn't. I'm going to try to make my unit look nice, so I'll move this one over. And then over here on the right, I've got the traces here. I'm going to just go ahead and add a couple traces. And that needs to go up to here. Okay, so I got my first two traces on the board. Okay, so now V-bus, this is actually where our 5 volts comes into our system. And what we're going to need is, and that's what's going to go to the regulator. So let's put the regulator right here. Let me zoom out a little bit. Let me click the regulator, hit M to hit a bunch of escape keys here. Click the regulator, hit M, and says move. Let me put that up here for the moment. I still need some labels on this. Oh, let me just zoom this back in again. Let me put some labels on here. Label. This is going to be the USB D positive. And I'm going to want that right there. And then I want to copy that down here, but I want a different label, so I'll just Command D to copy it, for duplicate, I should say. And then I'm going to put my cursor on it and hit an E. And then that's going to be the DM for D minus. Let me click a couple of traces on this. Okay. Now the regulator is going to need a cap on the input. And you know, it's not a very big one. It's like the 100 nanofarad, so we could use the existing ones we got. Let me just come down here, and I'm going to hit the escape key to make sure I get the thing cleared, and then I'm going to put my mouse on the cap, and I'm going to say move, and I want to put that up there, and let me zoom back in. You know, I should move that down just a little bit. Let me move this guy down, just to. I'm making it in line with the V bus signal because that's where it's going to come from. And this go to ground. Those go to ground. Oh, I should actually create a ground symbol. Let me click that. Power. There's ground. Okay, so let me just put one right here. And let me draw some lines. Okay, so the ground's going to come and we can put the grounds for the cap. And this is power in that to there. Okay, so now I've got that. Oh, the capacitor should be 100 nanofarad. So let's go ahead and just put my cursor on that and hit an E key. I have to hit the escapes till that thing goes back to normal. Then hit the E key. Value 100 nanofarad. Okay. So that's the proper cap now. Let me. That is also our +5 if we ever need it. Let me label that. Let me just do that. I click the ground button over there again, and I want a +5 volts. And that's what's really this is here. So I'm just going to put it right there. And I'm going to put a trace on it. So there's our +5. This output is going to be our 3.3. That's what our regulator does. So let me go back, hit the escape key, put it back on here, command duplicate. I need a cap over here too. There. Let me put a line on it. And let me connect it into the ground. Now this is the 3.3. So if I can click the ground button again, I can say 3.3 volts and do that. Okay, so we now have the USB connector where it needs to go. And let me start in on the micro here. Let's take care of the crystal. I need a couple more capacitors. They're going to be a little smaller. So I could see my mouse, my cursor's got the little line on it. If I hit the escape key, that goes away. If I hit it a couple times. Let me copy, command duplicate the capacitor again. I need two caps here for the crystal. But there are different values. So before I actually copy it again, I'm going to edit this. And this is going to be 15 picofarads. And then I'm going to make a copy of that. Put it on the other side. Let me zoom in here. So let me add traces for this. Bottom sides need to be ground. So let me zoom out. Let me grab the ground. I'm just going to be Command D to duplicate. And then I'm going to zoom in here and put traces on it. Click that. Then we're going to add trace to the other one. And we're going to go for, I need labels. Let's label this one X0. And then the other one, I need one just like that. That's going to be called X1. And so I'll just duplicate it, edit it, and then say X1. Okay, so now from here, I can just run the lines across. I want it to look nice, so let me just move this up one to line up. Okay, so now this crystal itself, let me edit this thing a bit. The value, this is actually a 12 megahertz. Let's say okay. Now I don't like where the labels are, and I can move them, but I also have these two empty pins, and that's going to bother me too. And let's see here. I do have here it is. Add no connect flag. So I'll just click that, and I'm just going to put it right on there. And that's just telling the system that those pins actually do not get connected. Hit the escape key, get rid of that. Now I'm going to take it, put it on the label here, Y1, and I'm going to move that a little closer. And this 12 megahertz is a little bit far away too, so I'm going to move it down. Move it down here. You know, I kind of... It'll be fine there. Okay. Now the X0 and X1 go to the microprocessor. And there's the X in, X out. The crystals are symmetrical, so it doesn't make any difference. I just need these two to connect. And I could have just run the wires down here, but you know, I'm just going to come over here and click on that, and I'm going to say duplicate, a couple of rotates, and put that there. Come over here, click on this one, duplicate, rotate twice, put it there. Okay, we now have a crystal. Okay, I think I'm going to break the video here. Let me save the work. Go back to full screen. Okay, so we've now got power, and we've got a crystal. We don't have the power going to the micro yet, and a bunch of the pins have to be connected with the various powers and grounds, and you know, that'll be up next. And you know, some of this stuff I've gotten off the data sheet. I would always start with the schematic for the Raspberry Pi Pico when you start with this, and then we can decide to add things in, leave things out, that type of stuff. Okay, so we're going to stop there.